Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. Could you start by telling me a little about yourself and your background?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I am Supriya, and I recently graduated with a degree in computer science from ABC University. During my time at university, I worked on several projects, including a web application for managing inventory using React and Node.js. I am particularly interested in software development and data structures, and I have a solid understanding of programming languages like Java, Python, and C.
That sounds great. Let's start with a technical question. Could you explain what object-oriented programming is?
Certainly. Object oriented programming is a programming paradigm based on the concept of objects, which are instances of classes. These objects can contain data in the form of fields, often called attributes or properties, and code in the form of procedures, often known as methods. The main idea is to model real world entities using objects and classes.
Great. Now, can you explain the core principles of object-oriented programming?
Sure. The four core principles of object oriented programming are encapsulation, bundling the data, and methods that operate on the data within a single unit or class. It restricts direct access to some of an object's components, preventing accidental modification of data, inheritance, allowing a new class to inherit the properties and methods of an existing class, promoting code reuse and creating a hierarchical classification, polymorphism, enabling objects of different classes to be treated as objects of a common superclass. This is often achieved through method overriding, where a subclass provides a specific implementation of a method already defined in its superclass. Abstraction, hiding complex implementation details and showing only the necessary features of an object, which helps reduce programming complexity and effort.
Good explanation. Can you explain the difference between an abstract class and an interface in Java?
Yes, an abstract class is a class that cannot be instantiated on its own and can have both abstract methods without a body and concrete methods with a body. It is used when we want to share code among several closely related classes. On the other hand, an interface is a completely abstract class that is used to group related methods with empty bodies. In Java, a class can implement multiple interfaces, but it can inherit only one abstract class. Interfaces are generally used when we want to specify a contract for what a class can do, without specifying how it does it.
That's correct. Moving on to data structures, could you tell me what a linked list is and how it differs from an array?
A linked list is a linear data structure where each element is a separate object called a node. Each node contains two parts, data and a reference, or link, to the next node in the sequence. The main difference between a linked list and an array is in their memory allocation and operations. Memory allocation: in arrays, memory is allocated in contiguous memory locations. In contrast, linked lists use dynamic memory allocation. Nodes are scattered in memory, and the nodes are connected via links. Operations: arrays provide big O of one-time complexity for accessing elements because of direct indexing, while linked lists provide big O of n-time complexity as we may need to traverse the list to access an element. However, linked lists provide big O of one-time complexity for insertion and deletion if the node is known, whereas in arrays, these operations can take big O of n time due to the need to shift elements.
Excellent. Can you write a simple function to reverse a linked list?
Sure, here is a Python function to reverse a singly linked list. This function iterates through the linked list and reverses the direction of each link. By the end of the loop, the previous variable will point to the new head of the reversed list.
That's correct. Let's talk about databases now. What is normalization?
Normalization is a database design technique that organizes tables to minimize redundancy and dependency. It involves dividing large tables into smaller, more manageable pieces and defining relationships between them. This helps ensure that the same piece of data is not stored in more than one place.
Good. Why is normalization important in database design?
Normalization is important because it helps eliminate redundant data, ensuring data dependencies make logical sense according to the relationships between data elements. It typically involves multiple stages, called normal forms, 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, etc., each with specific rules. The process reduces the chances of data anomalies, ensures data integrity, and optimizes the database's performance.
Great. If your application is running slowly, how would you approach the problem?
I'd start by identifying the bottleneck using profiling tools, optimizing the code and database queries, implementing caching, and considering scaling resources if needed.
That's a comprehensive approach. Can you discuss a project you have worked on that demonstrates your technical skills?
Certainly. One of the most significant projects I worked on was a web-based inventory management system. The system was developed using the MERN stack, MongoDB, Express.js, React.js, and Node.js. My role involved designing the database schema, developing the backend RESTful API, and creating a responsive front-end interface using React.
Sounds interesting. What were some of the challenges you faced in this project, and how did you overcome them?
One of the challenges we faced was optimizing the search functionality for large datasets. We implemented text indexing in MongoDB, which significantly improved search performance. Additionally, I worked on integrating user authentication using JWT tokens and securing API endpoints. These tasks helped me enhance my skills in full-stack development, database management, and security practices.
Impressive. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, could you share more about the technologies your team is focusing on?
We're working with cloud solutions, microservices, and containerization technologies like Docker and Kubernetes.
That sounds exciting. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. We'll be in touch soon.
Thanks. I look forward to it.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more. Your support means a lot. Thanks for watching.